7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, good morning. Magpie and friends, just setting up our little stand here. We're okay. All good. Okay. How's everyone? Hope you're all well. Wow, what a weekend. Gotta say, it was pretty trying. Yeah, but it's great to be back. I wasn't going to do this, but I thought, nah, you got to do it. You know, when you're feeling at your best, when you do what you love to do. And this is what I love to do. I just want to let you know. Just want you guys to know. Hey, Marty. How's everything? You never told me. How's the honeymoon going? Hope it's well. Hope you're going well out there. Really. We've been talking about you. We thought, how's Marty going with her new, life partner? Hopefully. Yeah. Oh, take it as it comes. I mean, not everything works out as well. So, just in case you're, not there yet, It does take time to really grow together and figure each other out. I think you got to give it that time too. I mean, sometimes relationships feel a little rushed, and we haven't figured out exactly what the best way to be. We're going well. Good. That's all I want to hear. I was just prefacing a bit in case you said, "Oh, we're still talking," or we're just friends or whatever. Look, stay friends. If there's one tip I'm going to give anyone who begins a relationship, have a friend in mind, because no matter what happens, you're going to be friends. And I think you got to commit to the friendship, really, to make anything else work. Almost been 2 weeks. Good. Well, hopefully it's 2 years. Hopefully it's 2 decades. Something I'm getting close to, by the way, my personal best. I never thought I'd be saying this, but I've been married 15 years nearly. So, wow. I mean, I don't know where the time went. But to say when you're with the right person, time just goes by. You don't really notice it. It's not a nightmare. It's just what you want. Sure, there's ups and downs all over the place, but it's not to do with them. You go through it together. I think that's something to remember. You're going through it together. It's not their fault that you're going through it. Although, look, people make mistakes, Car batteries run out of power in the wrong time, and you have to go and go, you can't help but blame the problem on the person. But look, let's remember, when a car battery dies, it's not really the driver's fault 100%, It had to happen at some point, true. So, yeah, something trivial like that, you got to try not to hold it against them, because it's not their fault, They haven't got control over things like that. So, I'm only saying that because I was in that position once. I was kind of upset that the battery had run out in the worst place possible. I had to go and get one, throw it in a supermarket trolley, and push that new battery over to the car and swap them over. It was a big deal. I had to cross railway tracks, bridges with the trolley, and I thought, if only the car hadn't died there, but then can't blame it on the person. That's the car. So, yeah, those trivial things annoy us a lot, but you can't let them be the person's fault. You get through it together. Whatever happened, you get through it together. That's how I see it. You got into it together, you get through it together, and you both get out of it together. That's the aim, along that long journey together. Each day presents a new challenge, and you got to overcome them. You got to do your best. We still have to get home and be happy within ourselves that we've done what we needed to or what we wanted to do, or we've lived up to our own expectation. You know, I mean, look, without setting any standards for everyone, you know, I would say each person tries to live up to their own expectations, and at least you could do that if your expectations are obviously feasible. You know, we've been getting bullied at school by a kid in our class, yeah, because he doesn't like that love, he doesn't like that nice thing you got going. He'll do anything to interrupt it. So just avoid that person. He's one of those people who come up as an obstacle. So just if you don't want an obstacle, just avoid him. You know, he's an obstacle. That's what I think. He's an impediment. He's something that's going to come in between you. Don't let it happen. He's jealous. Usually bullies are very jealous at other people's contentment, and they want to interrupt your contentment, your peace of mind, or your your little flow that you have is good for you, you know. And you don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that in your way on your beautiful yellow brick road journey together. He doesn't belong there, that bully. So avoid him, you know. Report him if you have to. I don't know. Is he physical, or is he just saying nasty things, you know? It's just being nasty. I think he's just being nasty. Look, let's hope it's just that and nothing physical or mental, you know. If it's just words, maybe disregard his ignorance, you know, in a way. And if you can, maybe forgive the ignorant in a kind of way. Say, I wish things were better, you know, but sometimes there's not a lot each person can do to change others, and you can really only change yourself. So that's the best way. If he's bullying you, then you guys got to put yourself in a position where you're not being bullied by him. Take away that enablement he has. Like, has he got access to you? Is he close by? Does he know people you know? All this, like, see if you can cut out some of his pathways. Make it harder for him to get anywhere close to you. Just avoid the thing. Maybe just avoidance is great. I mean, think about it as a leopard in the tree, you know. We told the assistant principal. Well, telling them's good, but look, it's good. You know, you got to speak up if it's something wrong, and you don't want other people to be subject to the same. So maybe this kid is doing this not just to you, others. So, you know, if it's a problem, help everyone, you know, and get this kid sorted. He probably needs help. He probably is deeply unhappy, and he's probably in a bad situation himself. That's all right. Get ready. Go. Geez, pretty early for school, but anyway, yeah. Have a great day, okay? I mean it. I want you to. You know, it's important. Trying to foster new relationships that are good and that are going to bring goodness into the world. We should support those people and say, yes, you know, well done, Marty. We want your relationship to work because you're symbolic of what's going on in the world. There are people trying to repair bridges and bring people closer together and try to eliminate bad situations and make good ones out of them. Yeah. Have a great day, really. Hey, Darren! I remember Darren. Same Darren, sure. Yeah. It's good. Look, you made me smile. I like that. You know, just knowing that somebody's in love is enough for me to go, all right, there's love out there. You know, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all, you know, no reason to panic when you're feeling okay. You know, like sometimes I think we let ourselves do that sometimes, and I think, you know, that's the power over yourself I think we need. You at least need some power over your own feelings, you know. How's things? Oh yeah, look, I'm ready. I'm so ready, because I've got issues out there that I must fix, that I've left hanging, and all weekend they were on my mind, which was killing me, you know, like, emotionally, having too much out there that I couldn't get to over the weekend. Nothing could be done on a Saturday or a Sunday, because I was, anyway, long story short, I was trying to find myself mechanical assistance for my car, and I could not get what I needed over the Saturday, which I thought I could. So Monday has become much more dramatic than I want it to be. I'm gonna have to go in and not only do some of what should have been done to help me, I'll have to do myself, but then I've got to organize a tow truck and other stuff and get my vehicle back to the dealer, because it's trickier than I thought. It's one of those constantly variable transmission. It's like a box down there, and like, I'm not opening that thing when I'm covered by, you know, mechanical things like this, so that there's no way I should be opening up some kind of weird gearbox by myself. I don't have the first clue. Yeah, the van broke. I mean, it didn't break. It went into limp mode. It went down into first gear, and it locked me down at 19 kilometers. And I couldn't go over. You couldn't. It would just rev over. It would not go anywhere. It was so trying. I rolled it down from the top of the CBD all the way back to depot. It was really trying. And I think that really put me on the edge for the weekend, because I was sweating bullets, man. I had trucks behind me. I was doing 19. I had to pull over anytime I could have let them through. You know, I was like, man, I can't go any quicker. Limp mode, yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad when that happens. And it's back to the manufacturer or whoever can fix that thing, because it's an error message that puts the car into absolute stagnation. It's terrible. So you can't even get through the day. It was a nightmare. That's what happened to me. I was really stressed out, because I was at the top of Burke Street. You couldn't get any more far away from things as that. And I thought, there's no way I can tackle a hill, so I just took the hill and rolled pretty much down. Obviously not all the way down, because I had to turn and use Lonsdale. So I mean, I used Burke as far as I could. I think I turned at Elizabeth and then down Lonsdale, up a little bit, which was hard, and then down Spencer Street mainly. Yeah, had to do the whole thing. Cut through Queensbridge Street under the casino, you know, go look for that road to Port Melbourne. Man, that was hard. It took about an hour to travel about 4 Ks, man. Or five, you know, maybe 5 or 6, but it was ridiculous. And I thought, that's a really unsafe thing. And like, when I rang up to get some help, they said, oh, you'll have to organise a tow truck. Man, I'm on the top of Burke Street. What are the odds that this is going to happen? Like, right now. And I had stuff to do, which didn't help. You know, I still was trying to get my jobs done. So from where I was parked, I managed to load up my trolleys, wheel them around to all the places I could walk to, which were quite far away, but I still managed it. I think I overstayed the loading zone there, but luckily I think nothing happened. You know, it's always in my mind that they're going to mail you a fine, you know, even if you don't get a ticket on your window that day, you know. But hopefully not. Hopefully the sun was shining on me in a good way, because look, I managed to get the car out of there, and I have been in worse jams than that, but it was pretty bad to be loaded up with stuff to do and have a breakdown in such a place, in such a prominent place like Burke Street. When they say busier than Burke Street, I'd say I was the busy one. You subby? Well, kind of. I'm a storeman, warehouse guy, but I recently started driving, as in delivery driving as well. So obviously to improve my life a bit. So that was the aim. So far, it has been good. Aside from this recent breakdown, which I know is a setback, bad setback, especially early in the month, that I've only had the car for about 3.5 weeks. So it's a real setback to have it happen so early. But, you know, it is what it is. That's what I've been telling myself. Yeah, so I work in a store, like a warehouse full of alcohol, and we deliver, we deliver, our guys deliver, but I've just recently thought I'd give it a try, and I used to do it anyway. It's not a new thing. I just thought I leveled up and got a vehicle, my third one actually, but I had been through a couple before and got rid of them. I shouldn't have. All of those, I would say, if you've got a decent car, don't get rid of it, because you'll never get any worth from it. Like, no one's going to give you a lot for it. I always think if you've got a decent car that you've looked after, don't give it away cheap, because you'll never find one of those cheap, you know, when you need one. And it's good to help someone out who needs it, but you know that one day you might need it. And yeah, the amount of cars I've gotten rid of, I thought, man, if I'd have just kept some of them, they would have been okay. They would have helped me now. But anyway, it is what it is, you know. I keep going back to that. I keep hearing that voice. It is what it is. Just deal with what it is. Don't wish it was different. Make it different, you know. Like, oh wow, this sunshine is so intense, guys. We're getting it. It's a bit higher than it was, I gotta say, for the time. It's I don't know, 20 degrees up. Like, it's not quite 45. It's getting there, 15 maybe. It's just over the tree line. Wow. Like, I don't know how people drive fast when they can barely see that. Barely see a thing. I don't even think I got sunglasses. Oh. Wow, can't see. I actually, right here, lucky we're stopped in standstill traffic right now, but seriously can't see a thing, like, for the glare. Oh, there's a tree. Oh, just a bit of a tree back there would help. Wow. Yeah, when that happens, your screen turns black. You can't see a thing on the phone screen if you're doing anything when the glare hits you. Maybe the Google Maps would be fine. The white screen of the Google Maps, you could probably see that in enormous glare. You could barely see it, but you'd be able to see it. But what we've got is some really treacherous merges, like where you got people coming in fast on one side or the other, and you know you can't see very well. You think, well, how can they be seeing very well? They're flying, you know, and you can barely see the brake lights through the glare, you know. Anyway, we're seriously doing like 0 right now, so that's the way it gets. Out here, traffic's really slow, you know, and there's nil cooperation, you know. Like, I always think we're in this traffic together. It's not me versus the traffic. I'm here too, so I'm causing it too. I'm part of the problem, I know. I'm one of these people crawling along. So it's easy to say that the way it would be so easy to get frustrated with other drivers, well, just as easily that frustration could come to you too. So I just think to myself, do the right thing, leave a bit of a gap, and just keep rolling. What else can you do? There's no point like revving hard and trying to zigzag out of something that is just a continuous standstill of bumpers, you know. And then, look, we always have that person who wants to wiggle his way through there. It's just going to satisfy them that they're making it. Okay, well, you know, that's great. You know, I wish you well with your, you know, confirmation there that you're on top of things, you know, fine. As long as you're on top of things and I'm behind you, so I'm hoping you know what you're doing. You know, when I let people ahead of me, I always hoped, you know, are you gonna just keep moving as well? You're not gonna stop and try and change lanes in the middle of nowhere, you know. But then, you know, you can only hope people behave in a good way. You know, like when you're walking down the street, you don't expect someone to elbow you for no reason, you know. But like, we know that can still happen, but we can't walk around being worried about that, you know. I'm a peaceful guy, you know. I really want to avoid conflict and confrontation. I really don't like it. And if sometimes it's very hard to negotiate a problem-solving thing through other people that, you know, you've got to bring them on board to the problem. They've got to agree it's the same kind of problem they want to fix, and then invest in a bit of time with you to cooperate. And I see that as two people can cooperate if they have a mutual interest in the problem being solved. But if one person loves the problem because it's making other people sweat or making other people have to do things they don't have to, well, I think you got to fix that. You got to, you know, you can't have one non-moving part in a machine where there's moving parts. Like, no one can choose to be the non-moving part, you know. Really, we all got to be moving parts, don't we? You know, I don't think each person has a universe that rotates around them. We're very much part of the thing that we have to contribute to. I'm not here to graze and take for myself. I really think that we achieve things together. We're a species that came out of community and nurturing, but if nobody nurtured us, we wouldn't be here. If we weren't fed when we were vulnerable and small, we wouldn't be here at all. So I do think that our life is a continuous handover to the next living people, you know, or the next living things, let's say, that we're contributing not only to the longevity of our species, but all animals. You know, we really want the earth to keep going, don't we? We really want trees to keep growing, and we really want animals to keep grazing and all this kind of thing. I mean, I don't know how we could wish for one part of nature to slowly die off in exchange for some other gain. You know, I think we shouldn't do that. I don't think we should be cutting forests down if they're the last thing we have to give something good back into the atmosphere. You know, like, look, I'm not all about just that. I don't think people should have to sacrifice their well-being. I think our well-being depends on the good working order of the planet, and that if we see that things like wild weather events or things that maybe are contributed to by our things that we do, or, you know, or I don't know, what do you call them, pollutants that go into the atmosphere, I'm not sure, like those things, the atmospheric problems we may be having, you know, like, I don't know, like, I'm not an expert there. I just think that the planet needs to be a bit looked after. If it was a pet, you'd give it food and water, you know, like, if it was like a child, you would feed it, make sure it had everything it needed. Like, I mean, I hear that bees are a little bit endangered, you know, because we need them to pollinate and to make things happen, grow. I mean, without bees, I don't think we could grow anything, you know, because they are part of that process of making flowers bloom, and fruit to grow and all this kind of thing. Like, I mean, maybe we took those things for granted when they were in huge supply, but I think now it's getting tricky to use nature to profit from. Like, I think we have to give back to it, because otherwise we can't continually make profit out of the nature we have. We can't just keep digging huge holes and selling minerals. I think we should be, if we're going to dig big holes for minerals, why don't we use those minerals instead of just digging holes and selling minerals and then buying products from other countries? I mean, doesn't that affect us, really? I know that there are agreements made. It's not for me to say where money should be spent. If it were my money, I'd have a say in it, but I don't. Yeah. So I think each person, you do what you can in your department, in your area of concern. I can't go telling governments what to do, really. I can only give the point of view of a citizen, with an idea perhaps that, we try a more peaceful and like a sustainable way forward, really. Like, I'd love to see some conflict end, some conflict. Any conflict come to an end is a good thing. It's because then you can heal, you can build bridges and grow again, but if you're continuously fighting, well, there's going to be damage, isn't there? It's just obvious that with fighting comes destruction, and I just think putting ourselves in a position of fighting is counterproductive to us too. I don't see how my going out swinging missiles at people is going to help me, apart from to prove a point that I don't think they need to prove anymore. We know that they have amazing powers of destruction, and I'd love to see them just not used anymore. Like, please, like, these are innocent people too. There's innocent people dying, and once again, I don't even want soldiers to have to fight. I think soldiers are people we need here in our country, because we do have a lot of issues that we could use some people, strong people. I don't think we should send our guys far away into the Middle East to fight battles that really have nothing to do with us, And I don't want soldiers to die. I think they're very strong, capable people that really need to be utilized in a society. I mean, we train soldiers. Can't we use them here? Our police can't do everything. We need real help here. Like, I think sometimes what we need in Victoria is a group that's even stronger than the police, like the army, because what we've got sometimes is a great number of disaffected people, and the police can't handle them all because they're often like, there's a lot of kids now doing crime, and it's a big thing. They're saying they want to start sentencing younger kids with harsher penalties, but isn't that in the long run going to cause worse problems? You're putting people into custody earlier, and I'm not saying we should let them do crime, of course. I'd love to see sort of crime really tempered, like just last week that a major restaurant that's really up there in Melbourne somebody come along and swung at and took the water meter, stole the entire water meter from a restaurant. They had to close. Like, I mean, nobody was coming. It was lunchtime on a Friday. Can you believe it? It's your last hit before the weekend comes. They're trying to make back their costs. all that. Like, they're not making money yet, until the weekend's through. And to be hit like that on a Friday, a little bit of copper pipe about that long that was attached to the water meter wouldn't have been worth more than $8. Seriously, it was a bit of copper pipe attached to the water meter. Wow. An entire restaurant full of staff and all this had to just shut because they can't flush the toilet if they haven't got water, and you can't have punters in your restaurant and whatever, no sanitation. That was where they got hit on the easy thing that would take them out, the Achilles heel of the restaurant. It's the water meter. It's right out the front. And unfortunately, in Melbourne, it's becoming very, very tricky, very sketchy. Where you park, who's around, are you being watched? There's people around. There's a lot of homeless, and it's not just the homeless. There's a lot of crooks too. And look, I know the police can't go around playing secret agent and catching them all. But I just think our streets could be safer. They could be laid out in a more safer way. Perhaps there should be control rooms with people who are dedicated to safety, not just screen watchers who yo, Aussie, yay. Not just people who watch the screen and go, oh, no, don't worry about that. Like, look, if you see a car pull up and there's a lady who's drunk and trying to get home along the street, she's staggering a bit, a car pulls up next to her. Now, someone in a control room somewhere should be able to notice this somehow. I know that you can't have eyes everywhere. But look, we all know the story about the lady the well-known one, that's still very sad. She was out with her friends and she was just walking home or going back towards, I don't know where, a tram or a taxi or something. And somebody literally attacked and killed her, when she least expected such a thing, This is what I mean. Do you feel great about going out in Melbourne that there's this possible shadow around, waiting for you to be vulnerable and drop your handbag or be a little bit tipsy, and obviously you're not going to have the wherewithal to get away. And the saddest one was that Israeli girl who was murdered in Bandura. That was at around 2020, I think, or 2019, I'm not sure, but it was so sad. Such a beautiful girl, a student, whole life ahead of her. She's just coming home from an outing, as students do, these people who don't understand how dangerous it could be. Maybe they come from more dangerous places, but our crime here is a little bit hidden away. It's not as obvious. We don't have obvious gangs, they're kind of hard to pick. It's hard to pick members of gangs around here unless they're all together. You wouldn't know. But I'm talking about those random, disaffected, sometimes neglected homeless people or mentally ill people who are out there kind of hunting people, and usually at night. They may pick someone who's quite affluent, someone who's quite obviously done nothing to anyone else, minding their own business. And I just think maybe making the streets safer would be a great idea. We've got so many trained army people. Couldn't we have one on the corner of the street in the city? I mean, if you can't afford to have a policeman standing there, can't we have a soldier? It's almost the same thing, isn't it? Like, police are like soldiers. They're trained too, like, in all that same stuff. I just think citizens need a bit more protection because we've got a lot of people who are not not without their problems themselves, and also a lot of people who are awaiting trial. They're out on bail or out on parole, and for them often it's a race against time, that they're trying to find a way out of their situation. But we know that the rate of recidivism is there, and a lot of people are recommitting, offenses over time, almost making a living out of it, which, I don't know. What can we really do about it? I don't know. It'd be good to see, like, crime reduced, and look, I know a lot of crime happens because people are desperate and don't know what else to do. But I don't think that should be an option. There should be a hard work option. There should be an option where you say, listen, I need a job, I need money. If that's what it is, there should be some sort of thing that people, even the most desperate people, even single parents out there who are struggling and need money, right? There should be a safe way to say, put your hand up, guys, I need the program. I need to go and do some work. And yes, you'll be given work to do and you'll be paid. Look, I know it sounds a little bit regime-y, like to have work programs, but I think people need work. They need to have purpose, they need to have a job, and they need to have income. And if we're not assisting them there, and I'm not saying give them income, I'm saying give them work to do. Give them work to do that satisfies them to get paid for. There's farms, there's so much work out there. Come on. Like, and we've got all these people who are just being paid by our system to do nothing except maybe affect others. Commit crime, for example, because the income they get for doing nothing, of course, is not enough. So give them something. Give them something to do, not give them money. I don't think throw money at the problem's never going to work. It's never going to work just to increase the amount of money you're giving people who aren't productive. Give them something that's productive to do. Then pay them for that, Okay, I'm not talking about the people who are unable, okay, who are disabled or mentally not able, okay, but there should still be a way for them to be productive. You still have to make them productive. You can't turn everyone into a TV watching consumer with money in their hands to spend and little else to contribute except for being paid money to spend money. I don't think that's productive enough. I mean, back in the old times, wouldn't we have been in a tribal situation where you taught how to tie things, make things, chip away at things, gather materials and supplies that the tribe needs, the tribe. Hey, hello, Afridi. Hello, everyone. It's good to see everyone again. It's good to be back, guys. It really is. Obviously, I had a tough weekend, but I'm so glad to be back and with a chance to get out there and do something. I wouldn't have felt any better if I just stayed home. I think everyone reaches a point where they've got to get out and do something, be productive, feel a sense of satisfaction that you've done something. When you lay down at night, you want to feel a bit tired. You want to feel like you've expended some energy. So like lately I've been doing a lot of warming up, like kind of sort of like yoga, sort of like stretching, things like that, things that will help your body feel better. Let's do those. They're good for you. Maybe trying to eat better, eat healthier, perhaps, like put some real nutrients in our body, vegetables and things like that we need. You know, like, I know it sounds very wholesome, but I think that's what we need. We need a bit of wholesome advice, and I need it too. I've been told by my closest that I need to take better care also. And I thought, well, yeah, that's right. I mean, if I take care of myself and you guys take care of yourselves, we're all going to be fine. And yeah, I remember you, of course, Freddie. I remember you. I remember all you, one by one. I do. Well, it looks like the sun's out. You know, it looks like a nice day. And, you know, I think we've got to try and keep a smile on our face, even through tough times. You know, they don't last. Tough times don't last. I know that. It's something I tell myself. And when you got a problem, I keep reverting back to, I'm not sure if this is right, it's a little bit stubborn. Good Arvo, Kelly, how are you? Good to see you. Good to have some people drop in today. You know, new people too today. It's great. Thank you. Look, we're just chatting about getting our day started, trying to get our best frame of mind, you know, trying to be positive and contribute, you know. Good. Hope feeling good. What's your feeling good, really? You got to feel a kind of a buzz, you know, in your tummy that we're going to work. Going to work. That's all. Following a car who's going to work too. We're watching a motorbike disappear into the zigzaggy distance there. Getting smaller and smaller. Like that. Oh, gee. I know, I mean, you want to be eager to do something and get to work, but I don't think you should be crazy about it. So today I'm going to pursue the right way of doing things, because that is the fallback. When everything else you've tried that gets a bit sketchy, you've got to revert back to the step-by-step problem solve, ABC. What do I have to do? 1, 2, 3. How am I going to get my car fixed? Blah, blah, blah. What's the first thing you got to do? This, that, the other. Knocking over these things will get us there, you know? And like, I think taking some advice from a lot of people, actually. Everything I'm saying is coming from everywhere and everyone. And in a way, I'm the sum total of everything I've heard and everything I've tried to do, or everything I'm trying to do. And everything I've done, although it's swept into the history crack, you know, of what's done is done, I still think we need that potential right now, each day, as we unlock our day, you know, like we open it up and we examine what's going on today, you know, like the specific things of today. And I think we should be less concerned about yesterday, unless yesterday's issues are still today's issues, which means, you know, today is just another day, yes, but we do have fresh problems to look at. They're not the same old problems that we had last week. I think each week we have to kind of tweak what we're doing and make sure we're keeping up with, I don't know, with everything that's occurring. There's less time to really keep your mind on everything. So I don't know about you guys, but I keep some notes here and there, and I try to keep track of at least what I'm doing, what time I need to wake up, what day I need to be somewhere. You know, these are really self-driving things that you need to do. And look, I'm blessed to have a good team. You know, I love the people I work with. Really, I know we've had our ups and downs, and I've had my words with all of them, but they've really come to my assistance when I need them. You know, and for that reason, I wouldn't miss a day at work, because they've been there for me. When I was sick and I spent a week on the couch, unable to move because I'd picked up some gastroenteritis or something, and I was terribly sick, and that was very hard. And yes, I got the week to rest, and yes, I got paid because I worked for a very good boss. No, he's not listening, so it doesn't matter anyway. But he is. He's very good to me, very fair, and kind. And to find those qualities in your boss or your manager, or your management, and even your teammates. Look, if I had go up to any of the people I work with and say, look guys, I'm struggling, give me a hand with this, of course they'll say yes. Of course they're going to say yes. Of course they'll say yes. And for that reason, I say yes to my people who need help. I offer every help I can, because I know that people are there for me. I'm there for them. I think that it's a mutual thing, and it's. I think we always have to remember that you may have your ups and downs, and you may get upset with people, but that is not real. It's you getting upset, and I don't think it's really all their fault. It always takes two. It takes one person and another, one to feel a certain way, one to be a certain way, and you've already got some intrapersonal conflict, or interpersonal too. If somebody feels like they rub you the wrong way, but maybe they need to. Maybe you need to be. Because sometimes I'm always a bit reflexive on myself to say, listen, maybe you needed to be told, or somebody needed to put me in my place, that I wasn't in my right mind, or I wasn't being rational or reasonable. And I thought, yeah, well, there is a give and take there, and I have to pull back as well, because sometimes I think, gee, if I'm so critical of other people, I can't imagine the criticism I'm going to get if I'm this critical. So I think, well, look, a bit of forgiveness, a bit of, compassion maybe for someone who didn't quite mean to do any harm, at all. Sorry, I had to watch that. Anyway, guys, we're at work now, and I'm going to put into practice all the things I've been saying. Put my best foot forward, be as productive as I can, constructive as I can, use my time to get things done. And what I want in the end is just to feel satisfied that I've done what I needed to do and got through each day, in the best way I can. And that's what I want to wish to all of you. I want you all, if you're having a night time, have a great night. If you're having a day like me, then have a great day. Do something that is going to benefit you and maybe benefit others too. Look for a mutually beneficial thing, that by doing one thing, maybe you'll be helping someone else too, and in a good way, not just in our way, but in a way plural. I'd like to see a lot more pluralism, as in, like, we could unite on some things, and I think it's up to us to sort of say, in some ways we have to give up the fight, and in other ways we have to take up the fight. So, like, kind of, let's fight against those things that are stopping us from being a great team. Like, if humanity could really unite in some way, I think they should unite on a positive thing for everyone, on a positive goal. And I know that I'll have my criticisms from people who don't agree with this, and you know, and there's a lot of people who aren't utilitarian at all. They believe in the power of the individual and nothing else matters, and the rules that apply to the rabble is one thing, but then we have our exceptional people. But I don't think we need this anymore. We don't need our idols, and we don't need our exceptions. Although we do have some, I know, we have our people who are above the law or who are completely detached from the real world, the world of the average person. And look, all in all, my wishes go out to people like me, to the average people, to the humble, to the people who do what they're told, to the people who listen and do their best, you know, and also take the time to help others. As you're helping yourself, you could be helping someone else too. And this is how I kind of woke up to this whole thing, and I wouldn't miss a day without sharing something with you guys. It means so much to me, and I know it sounds cliche, but I love every person who can sit through my stuff, and I look forward to maybe if I could interview or talk to any of you. That'd be great. I'd love that. I love input. You know, if you guys have an idea, maybe go live to live with me. I'm so glad if we could have it out and have some, you know, have a bit of a chat, you know, and maybe the world would benefit from that, you know. That's my hope. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Happy Monday. Go well. Go well. We love you.